So if there's one thing I annoy Caleb with all the time, it's whenever I talk about Harmony Korine and all his movies.
Do you feel like you're annoying about it? Are you self-conscious about that?
Barely. I know I talk about him a lot.
Okay. I know that you like him. I mean, before we ever talked about things you recommended for me to watch, I don't think you over talk about him though. I mean, not any more than I talk about the same few people that I like or whatever. I mean, everyone has their obsessions, but yeah, I don't think you're annoying about it.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, I did write like 4 pages of notes for this episode we're about to do.
Yeah.
Yes. So when we were playing this podcast, I definitely wanted to do an episode where I'm just on an autistic rave about some of my favorite directors. And one of them is Harmony Korine. I learned about him for the first time in 2015, maybe. That was my introduction. I don't know how it started. I think I was probably looking at like a YouTube video of like disturbing movies, and Gummo was on the list.
Okay.
This is back then when, Gummo was like never streaming because of the subject matter.
Yeah.
And it was just always seemed interesting to me. You see all the stills of like how the main characters look, and you hear about the subject matter dealing with like pedophilia, killing cats.
Yeah.
And immediately you're pulled into like, okay, is this one of those movies that's just schlock? Is it meant to be just disturbing? Yeah. And then you look at the reviews, even at the time, and everybody's like, this is actually quite good. And then you watch it and you go, oh, this isn't just complete dog shit.
I did say
yeah,
quite a bit.
You do say quite a bit.
It's not what I thought it was going to be, which is kind of like a more I thought it was going to be a darker underbelly version of kind of what Sean Baker does. I thought the movie was just like, hey, look at these people in this small town and how they're so pathetic.
It'd be like exploitative.
Yeah. And I would say that it is, I mean, I guess it is that, but it's not only that. Like that is just part of it, but it is an actual movie.
Yes.
That does have, I guess, things to say. It's really difficult to talk about because it's not a traditional, it doesn't really have a story technically, but you do kind of interpret a story from it.
Yes. And that's exactly why I like Harmony, because all of his movies, even if they're not your speed, which I completely understand, it does talk about the human element and the human condition, and they're always unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. If at the worst, you're watching something you haven't seen before. And that's always good.
Yeah.
It's not boring.
No.
I will get into how he even started. So his first credit was Kids. He wrote this film for Larry Clark. They met when he was skating in a park in New York. Larry Clark had a very famous photo book in the 70s called Tulsa. Have you heard of this?
No.
So Tulsa was very controversial for the time. He grew up in Tulsa, and he was like a drug user, and all the subject matter, the people in this photo book are like teenagers, like late teens in Tulsa, just like doing heroin and like drinking and like having sex. There's just a photo that I was going to send you where it's just a dude with like his dick out through his pants, just like saluting the camera.
You should have sent that to me.
I should have. You'd like it. His photo book was very controversial for the time, but that kind of shows you the connection with Harmony at this point.
Sure. Yeah. I'm going to put something in your face that polite society, it's not okay to do in polite society, basically.
Yes. So he was skating in a park. Larry Clark was taking photos of kids.
Actually?
Probably.
Oh my God.
But Harmony was, I believe, at least 18 at the time. They get to talking, and he's like, okay, this kid actually, has some chops. I'm going to let him write this movie for me. He writes Kids, which Larry Clark directs. And when it releases, it is a huge event in the cultural landscape.
I'd imagine.
So this movie's made for, I think, about like $1.5 million.
Okay.
I mean, there's not anything super extravagant they could do, but they are filming like on location in New York. So they probably had to close down a lot of places. Makes like quite a decent chunk of change. I think like at least 20 mil.
Yeah.
Which for what it is,
Sure.
which I think it was like NC-17.
I probably have to be from what I've heard about it.
Yes. Quite the box office for that.
I guess there's no such thing as bad press, as they say.
Yes. I mean, after this, he was, Harmony was doing like interviews for like David Letterman, which he eventually got banned from.
Harmony?
Yeah.
I think you told me about that. How did he get banned?
I forget which actress it was, but he was just in the green room looking through her purse and he was going to be on the show that night. And they're just like, oh yeah, Harmony couldn't make it. You had to leave.
Wow. I mean, why would he even be... Since when do like screenwriters go on Letterman?
I think at this point, when he got banned, he had been on Letterman like 2 or 3 times. And I think he must have just done like Julien Donkey-Boy or something.
That's so crazy to me to think like, hey, because like that show is for like, hey, middle America, who's here's the platform by which we're going to show you the new culture or whatever. Like he's not. I would never think that he would even be considered. I wouldn't think that the brain trust that comes up with ideas for possible guests would even mention him at that point.
Yes.
You know, like maybe for Spring Breakers. Mm-hmm. But like not the guy who directed Gummo or Julien Donkey-Boy or wrote Kids.
It is very funny to hear David Letterman talk about a Dogma movie.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh yes, guys, go see it now. It's like he didn't see this shit.
Yeah. Oh, so tell us about your confessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to Kids, if you've heard anything about this movie, you know that the subject matter is very controversial. Mm-hmm. Basically, this is the height of the AIDS scare in New York in the mid-90s.
Oh.
I mean, the whole plot revolves around Chloe Sevigny's character and Rosario Dawson. One of the first things they do is they get tested for HIV. And I guess this isn't a spoiler, but if you want to know something, skip ahead like 30 seconds. But they go to the clinic. Rosario Dawson is a little more... I don't know the word. She's had sex with more people. Mm-hmm. She does a test and she's completely fine. Chloe Sevigny's character had sex one time with the main guy in the movie and test positive for HIV.
At the beginning.
Okay. Anyway, the main guy in this is like a real snot-nosed, like degenerate kid who's just going around like having sex with virgins. That's his entire thing. Is he loves deflowering girls. So Chloe's entire plot line is she's going through New York trying to find this dude because he is absolutely just giving people AIDS.
I didn't know that. I thought that was an accident. I thought that was like a twist at the end, is that like one of the characters has AIDS. I did not know that is the plot of the movie.
No, it's told pretty early on.
Okay, but.
This did launch the career of Chloe and Rosario Dawson as well.
Is it her first movie?
The first, I don't know about first, but the one that at least got them popular.
I think I was looking at her credits, and I think it was like the very first thing listed, or at least like feature film.
Okay. I
mean, I haven't seen it, but she's a good actress, and I imagine it was probably it could have been a star-making role if the movie wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
Is it Larry Clark's first movie? Was he already a film director, or was he just like a weird artist that was controversial and then him and Harmony linked up and made their first movie together? Do you know?
Shit, I thought I wrote this down. I don't know if it's his first movie. At the time, this movie didn't get great reviews, but it did become a cult classic, like almost instantly because of the subject matter. I think even Supreme, the clothing brand, like had a collaboration with Larry Clark.
Okay.
There's like kids shirts, which is so funny. All the hype beasts wearing a show about getting AIDS.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
it's his first film.
Okay.
Yeah, he did a music video for Chris Isaac and then Kids.
Okay.
And he directed Bully.
He did.
I've heard of that movie. I did not know that was him, but that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a movie with unsimulated sex.
I didn't know that. Wow, you're okay. I'm learning a lot right now. I just knew that movie had like just insanely realistic like hyperbullying in it, where you know, like people are telling like the poor actress who's playing the quote unquote ugly girl has to hear someone just be like, yeah, you're like a fat who should die. Like, you know.
We'll get into stuff like that.
Great.
But for the record, I've seen Kids. I watched it for the first time for this episode about 3-4 weeks ago. And I do not like it.
Okay.
It is very just stream of consciousness, no real plot, kids doing drugs for like the first 30 minutes. It is boring. And for some people who are in like skate culture or New York City, I can see why you would like this. But I also think Larry Clark is just not a very good director. I mean, this was Harmony's first time he ever wrote anything.
Yeah.
And you can start to see the benchmarks of his personality from this and how they evolve on. But Larry Clark and his other movie, Ken Park, I think are almost objectively bad movies.
That's disappointing because I wanted to see. I've known about Kids for a long time, just in general. I mean, I knew very little about it, but I knew it existed. I knew about the controversy, and I knew that it depicted like underage sex and drugs and, you know, taboos, basically. But I pictured it as being kind of like a Happiness kind of movie where it's a big cast. I pictured it. What Happiness ended up being, which is when I finally saw it, exactly what I thought it would be, pretty much. I thought Kids was like Happiness, but with kids. Like it's but you know, only kids, I guess, or younger people, where it's like it's a big cast of people who are all having really fucked up lives, and like you're not gonna see where it's going, and you know whatever. But I was looking forward to seeing it one day because I loved Happiness. That was so. Yeah. Even though I was kind of spoiled on a decent amount of it, it did work for me. I mean, it's not a movie you can watch every day, but like when you're in the mood for that kind of like. I guess when you're too happy in life and you need something to just like kick you into the dirt, you know? So I was always excited about, there's this movie Kids that I'll get to someday that's going to be like, you know, Euphoria, but without like the pedophilic stuff. But to learn that it's basically, it is just kind of. I
mean, Kids is basically Euphoria.
Is it like an early template for it kind of thing?
I would think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure that whoever has seen Euphoria has probably they probably based on Skins, the UK version, and then Kids to some extent.
Sure.
I mean, you have to at least acknowledge the framework.
Yeah.
If they haven't seen it.
Kids is probably the first time there was like a major American, not that it's a major release or whatever, but like a movie that's like a real movie that was in theaters. Kids was probably the first time there was an American movie like that. Or American content. Because I mean, Euphoria is not a movie, but it is like depicting 16-year-olds like raping, getting raped, doing drugs, doing crazy shit in a graphic way. You know? Yes.
Not like a very like libertine, like 1970s or any like free love, that type of thing. Definitely the dark underbelly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is disappointing to learn that it's not good. I mean, I probably won't watch it because I don't know for certain, but I think I'm not as big of a Harmony Korine fan as you, but I think that the things that I responded to are probably the same as yours. It's just like a matter of the scale, you know, like things that you might love are probably the things that I like the most. And the fact that Kids didn't work for you, I doubt it would for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hate Euphoria. Like, it's insanely uncomfortable. I can't. It just feels wrong. And not to moralize about it, but
if Euphoria is disgusting for you for what Euphoria is, I mean, Kids will you'll turn it off if it's bad. I mean, there are scenes that are just like a 13-year-old girl having sex.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't need to see that.
Yeah, I mean, you get the idea. He has AIDS. New York deserved 9/11.
It seems like crazy to say this, but like Happiness, for example, has a soul to it.
Yeah.
And Euphoria doesn't, in my opinion. And it seems like Kids is more in that vein, where it doesn't actually have a story and it doesn't have a soul. It doesn't actually say anything. It's just the shock value of, look, we're exploiting a taboo subject or multiple, you know, so yeah. But you said you can see the benchmarks of things he'll do?
Yes, and that leads into his directorial debut, Gummo. So Gummo is his first or earliest film that you have seen.
Yeah.
You watched this about a week ago?
Something like that.
Within a week. So what did you think, first of all?
I liked it. I didn't like it while I was watching it, but after it was done, I appreciated it more. I didn't hate it while I was watching it. It was like a decent viewing experience, but I was definitely like, okay, what is this? This is uncomfortable. This is weird. I don't know where this is going. But then as I kind of sat with it and processed it and then remembered things, and it kind of had this weird like congruency that appeared afterward. Like my mind kind of sorted the puzzle pieces, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a lot to take in.
Yes. It is a hard, blind recommendation.
Yeah.
This isn't something you recommend to your dad when he's just like, son, I need a movie to watch tonight.
Yeah. I don't know who I'd recommend this to, actually.
Just people with mental problems like you and I.
Yeah.
It is hard to sell because the plot is very thin. There is an overarching narrative, but it doesn't really matter. It's more an exploration of the dark side of America and what happens. Because in the story, they're in a town called Xenia, Ohio, but it's filmed in Nashville, which is where Harmony grew up. Xenia, Ohio was struck by a tornado. And instead of rebuilding and, people healing after the fact, nobody ever did. Basically, a tornado gutted, the entirety of that town. And it just it was just like poverty stricken.
Was this like a national news story? Was this a thing that if you're watching Gummo and you see a sign for Xenia, you're supposed to at the time go, and you know the context for that? Because I didn't know any of this.
No, Xenia is a fictional town, and this wasn't a real event that I think occurred. There isn't this isn't a stand-in for anything. Okay. Any shorthand.
How do you know this about the tornado? Is that in the movie and I just missed it?
Yeah, it's the intro. The
the voiceover.
The voiceover.
Okay, that's my fault. I kind of tuned that out to some degree. Because it was really insanely hard to hear at least with my speaker setup. Like, I could not really hear what the kid was saying.
I did give you the DVD.
Yeah, I was watching the DVD on like the lowest quality television of all time. With my window open and wind blowing, insanely crazy wind blowing through my apartment. So it was kind of my fault. But the captions did not work for me. So
this is kind of a movie you watch on either a VHS tape or a shitty DVD.
Yeah.
Which is weird because until last year, this movie was stuck on DVD for 2 decades. And then it got a Criterion release.
Why is he so disrespected? I guess he doesn't respect the norms of society, so why would they respect him back?
It must just be the subject matter, and because this movie is a lot tamer than Kids. Even if you haven't seen Kids, I mean, nothing in Gummo is really outrageously bad, but it does deal with pedophilia, animal abuse, poverty and drug addiction. The subject matter is out there, and a lot of movies cover those things, and this movie does it in an extremely blunt way where they're they are making fun of it. There's a lot of scenes where you're like, this is just making fun. You're meant to be laughing. I mean, I don't know. Do you care about any spoilers for this movie? I don't know if this is really a spoiler, but the scene they go over to the house. Is that a spoiler to mention that? No, we can talk about that.
Okay. For instance, the scene when they go to the guy's house to have what you're presuming they're there to have sex with the guy's wife or something. And it's pay me $10 and you can fuck my wife from the back. Sure. And then they go in the room and you discover that it's his probably sister with Down syndrome.
Yes, this guy is pimping out his Downy sister.
Who's clearly mentally 8 years old or something.
Yeah, she's in very childish makeup.
Yes.
And the two boys are going around the neighborhood just killing cats to sell to a Chinese restaurant. And they use their money to just have sex with a girl with Down syndrome. So on the surface, that does seem very funny. And we're laughing now talking about it.
It's just, it's absurd. It's and it's the fact that the way it's revealed, where the first guy goes in, you don't see her, but he just goes in the room, comes out, main kid, our perspective goes in, you finally see her, and she's obviously mentally disabled.
Yes.
I mean, that is a punchline scene.
Now, this is the perfect time to talk about the actors.
Okay.
So this was filmed in Nashville, where Harmony grew up, with people below the poverty line, I guess you could say. Most of the people are non-actors.
And you can tell.
Yes, obviously. The only people who are really actors by trade are Chloe Sevigny at the time and Solomon's mom, who is a tap dancer. I forget her name, but she's an actual actress with credits, but she had worked 20 years prior. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Harmony cast the two main guys, the one with the weird looking head. Is
that Gummo? What's his name?
His name is Solomon.
I didn't pick up on that.
I think. Anyway, I forget their names too. But the kid with the weird head was he is still kind of an actor to this day.
Okay.
He's actually relatively normal. He just has something that made him be looking like that.
He has the most bizarre face.
The other guy who acts like his older brother was cast because Harmony saw him on the equivalent of Ricky Lake, some type of tabloid show. Mm-hmm. And the episode was called My Child Died from Sniffing Paint. So he was a paint sniffer.
Okay.
Trying to get off it. And Harmony looked at him and said, oh my God, he has the look I need. And somehow contacted him, and that's how he got into acting.
I think he's the best of the non-actors. Learning that those two, because I presumed that Chloe Sevigny was the only actor, because the rest of them all seem very amateurish, but I forgot about the mom. That makes sense that she is. Of the rest of the cast, though, they're brothers? I thought they were friends.
No, they are friends, but he does take the older brother role. He's making him food.
Yeah. He's the older brother. He's definitely the best actor of the non-actors, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, this was filmed on location. They asked people in Nashville if they could just film in their house, or if they had anybody that wanted to be in the movie.
Sure.
The people filming this knew that this was a movie. This wasn't like a Borat type thing where it's like, oh, it's going to be this and it's exploitative. They knew what they were getting into. Some of the actors, especially in the chair fight scene, if you remember that, had gotten out of prison that day.
Okay.
So there is a scene where a bunch of just white trash hillbillies are drinking and just beating up a chair. For that scene, they only had the cameraman in the room. Harmony walked out and said, all right, guys, just do what you want to do here. I'll come in when you're done. So they were just beating up this chair.
Yeah.
And there's like a scene that I saw for the first time, and it kind of like shocked me at how it was presented. They beat up the chair and they just kind of like sit in silence and look at it for like 10, 20 seconds. And it's very uncomfortable, but it seems very realistic in an odd way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is how people who are day drinking, just got out of prison, having a real hillbilly ass day, this is how they would react.
Yeah, it definitely feels authentic, because watching that scene, I presumed that Harmony Korine was probably from New York. He just seems coasty to me, you know? So I presumed like, oh, this is his idea of what like backwood hicks do. But yet it did kind of feel real, of like, if you're in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing you can do, like, what else is there to do besides, I guess, be a swinger and like break shit in someone's house and drink a lot of alcohol? Like, literally, what else are you going to spend your time?
Yes, they are living in their own purgatory. They can't get out. So what are you meant to do? You're just meant to be violent,
I guess.
I mean, you have the two brothers earlier in the film, the bald guys, who are just punching each other, actually hitting each other.
Yeah, extremely hard.
Yeah, punching each other in the face, drawing blood, and they're just like, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
Just actually fighting.
Yeah.
Another thing, one of the houses they went into was so gross that the film crew like had a mutiny. They said, like, Harmony, we are not fucking filming in this house until you buy us hazmat suits. They said this is like absolutely like just a violation of whatever. So they were filming in hazmat suits, but Harmony and the cinematographer thought this was so disrespectful to the people that let them into their house to film that they just came out in Speedos and flip-flops while the entire crew's in hazmat suits, and just like, fuck you coastal elite filmmakers.
Was this in the house that's I'll just call him Gummo. Was this in Gummo's basement, that house? Where it's like trashed?
It didn't say exactly which house it was. Oh, okay. It could be a wide array, but they are filming like, if you have
could have been anywhere, actually. Yeah.
Yes. If you have any family member who's like a hoarder or below the poverty line and you've been to their house, you're just like, I do not want to step anywhere besides this one line.
Yeah, the hazmat thing makes me think that they must have seen like cockroaches or something. And the basement where the tap dancing scene happens definitely looks like there's some bugs in the walls.
Yes. It seems like something that even the best set designers couldn't make if they wanted to.
Yeah.
This is an actual lived-in house that definitely is just crawling with all types of bugs.
Yeah. Disease.
Speaking of the house that the kid lives in, the famous bathtub scene where he's eating spaghetti in the bathtub. His mom buys him a chocolate bar, which he proceeds to immediately drop into the tub and continue to eat.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier before we recorded. That scene is so disgusting.
Yes.
But it's very arresting.
Talk about that.
So how many movies have you seen where a kid with a fucked up shaped head like Hey Arnold is sitting in a bathtub eating spaghetti? He has bacon duct taped to the wall. Which Werner Herzog said is the most genius scene in the movie. Werner Herzog loved this movie, which eventually they'll go on to work together.
Tells you something about Werner.
Yeah. But it's a scene that on the surface seems like it's just very Like, you tell someone about it, it's just like, oh, a kid's in the bathtub eating spaghetti. You're just like, okay, whatever. He's being weird for the sake of being weird.
Yeah.
But you can't turn away. It's like looking at a modern art installation where you're like, I don't really like looking at this, but I've never seen anything like this.
Never seen anything like it, for sure. And I agree that it's arresting. When I was watching it, you can kind of taste, it kind of ruined spaghetti for me a little bit, because I could taste the spaghetti in my mouth and I could smell the conditioner in his hair.
Yeah.
Something about those textures of like twirling the noodles with his fork in like scum water. Oh, his bathtub is full of like black water.
Yes.
And his mom is like shampoo or conditioning his hair or whatever. And it's like you can hear the grimy noise of his like disgusting hair having like, getting the suds worked in. That combination of like senses, I don't even know, like that really did irk me. Mm-hmm. And I knew about the scene. I mean, I've seen the image of him with the spaghetti like turning his head. Like, I've seen that still, but I didn't know the context for it. I thought that was going to be like the character introduction or something of like, look at this poor kid who's like taking care of himself and he eats in the bath to save time or something before he goes to school. I didn't know. And I was a little let down that it is just like a little button at the end of the movie of like, look at this disgusting thing. But it is genuinely disgusting.
Yes.
Very memorable. I'll never forget how horrified I was watching that actor actually drop the chocolate bar in the scum water and then start eating it. I was like, I audibly went, oh, to myself.
Yeah. I mean, it is an overused term, but it is very cringy.
My assumptions while watching the movie are sort of confirmed, because I did have the sense that most people in it are not actors. Mm-hmm. And I did have the sense that everything was just sort of like how they found it, because this is obviously an indie movie. I think it looks like it was shot on film.
I believe it was.
I mean, that's what you had to do back then. So it's not like now where it's like, oh, they sprung for film, like whatever. But it's not like 16 millimeter shitty. So like, okay, they had some budget, I guess, like whatever. But it does look like an extremely cheap movie to make, because every scene is pretty much just people. It could have been a Dogma movie easily. I mean, almost every scene is just people in a room talking or hitting each other or doing something physical. It's like absolutely revolting. Yes. I mean, graphically beating a cat to death.
Oh, yeah.
Whipping it for no reason.
Shooting with BB guns. Shooting
a dead woman in the foot with a BB gun. Shooting a woman in the foot with a BB gun and then killing her. I mean, there's just a lot of things in the movie where I was watching it and I was like, did this even have a script? Like, was this just sort of like scenarios that they came up with on the day? Because it's very disconnected and really nothing. There's almost no narrative thread outside of the fact that cats are disappearing around the town because the kids keep killing them. Mm-hmm. And the opening, or like the second scene with the older friend, he's like grabbing the girl's boob and he's like, you got a lump.
Yes.
And then that does come back later where she's in the hospital and she's like, I'm going to lose one of my boobies. Mm-hmm. And then boys won't talk to me. And that's like a really sad, it's extremely sad.
Yeah, it's extremely depressing that this woman who is, forced into prostitution because of poverty is just like, I have breast cancer now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the ending, which I love, there's multiple movies I've seen that have a tornado is coming apocalyptic ending. And that's how I interpreted the ending, where you see a tornado on the horizon. Mm. Maybe that's footage of the initial one that destroyed the town, but it looks, I interpreted it that it's implying like another one's coming and it's going to kill these people.
Okay. So you're implying that, or at least the idea that this happened once, it will happen again.
That's kind of how it, I mean, maybe I misunderstood it. Clearly I missed the voiceover at the beginning.
That's completely fine. I mean, I could definitely see someone interpreting it that way.
It does seem, and then it ends with the girl. There's like a girl who's very childlike, not the Down syndrome girl, but the other one who sings like, Jesus loves me, this one. And she's just like in bed singing that at the end, and then it just cuts to black. And it's like these, I mean, basically the way I interpret it is like, look at these God-fearing who are, God doesn't love them because they're about to be fucking destroyed by this tornado that's coming,
Do you think Gummo is hopeful or hopeless?
I think it's absolutely hopeless. I don't know if there's an argument it's hopeful. Well, I'd love to hear it if you have one, though.
It's people surviving adverse conditions, not necessarily rebuilding, but persevering through everything they've experienced.
I don't know how they're persevering. Everyone, I mean, like, no one's wallowing in misery. But they're all just living like the most, like, if I was any of these people, if I couldn't leave this town, I would commit suicide.
But isn't surviving necessarily persevering, choosing to live? Because anybody can kill themselves, take their way out.
I guess by that logic, you could say any movie where people are in bad circumstances and aren't offing themselves is like they're persevering. I mean, this movie is, I would say, definitely mean-spirited.
Really?
And I mean, I don't know how you could see it different. I mean, I guess maybe you do, but to me, this movie feels like someone saying, look how bad your life could be. Because everyone in this movie, like, it does feel authentic in that at no point during this movie was I watching it and going like, okay, no human being would do that. Like, I kind of could believe a lot of human beings doing these things and being really fucked up, but it's not common, and it's unlikely that you'd be in a town where every single person is this fucked up. So it kind of, and you know, it's a movie, so it's not meant to be necessarily portraying realistic situations, but it is presented like, look at this slice of life. And I do like movies like that. I like movies that are just kind of a series of vignettes. Watching this actually did kind of inspire me of like, it reminded me of like a lot of early creative impulses I had of like movies I wanted to make, where, because I've never been one of those people that's like, I want to make Inception, you know. But like this kind of thing, not necessarily this subject matter, but this kind of movie where it's like, it's really just, it could be a play, but it's a movie, you know, it's just dialogue driven, character driven, small town stories. Like that really turns on my brain. And I like that kind of movie, but this one is definitely the hardest time I had watching one of them. I mean, it's just so sickening. Yeah. I mean, it's like literally like you're seeing things that are repulsive physically. You're seeing like really negative, bad behavior. You're seeing people that you'd be terrified to be around. You know, you're watching a pedophile grab a minor's crotch.
Oh, yeah.
You're watching, and it's like complete, and it's like funny. Because he's so like, oh, come on, like, you don't like this, you know. It's like it like really fucks with my brain. I don't know how to react to it, you know. It's
something that you can, even at its worst, you can acknowledge there are good elements, stuff that are like genuinely inspiring to like create something, but you're like, I really don't want to watch this again.
Yeah. But I kind of do see myself watching it again.
Okay.
Like in the future, you know, not in the near future, but I could see myself watching this in a couple of years.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
And this last thing is, I actually want to do a call to action here. So Harmony Korine, when he was showing this off in like art installations, he had a companion film called The Diary of Anne Frank Part 2. So what that is about 50 minutes of B-roll from Gummo.
Oh.
Not even necessarily B-roll, but other stuff they filmed that just didn't make it in the movie. Mm-hmm. This isn't available anywhere. I don't know if it's a rights thing, if like, you know, an exhibition, but Harmony, if you're listening to this, or if anybody has the rights to this, please release The Diary of Anne Frank Part 2. The name is hilarious, and I need to see this like hour of footage.
It's B-roll, so it's stuff that they didn't make the movie, but just footage of these people in the town.
Yes.
But from what we understand, it's just that footage with music, narration.
I don't know. Because it's only ever been screened in like museums.
Maybe this does reveal something about his intent with the movie, because The Diary of Anne Frank is, I'm in the worst circumstances imaginable, and I'm documenting the way I'm getting through it. You know?
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Not that, you know, not that it's on this, not that Gummo's the same thing, but like, I mean, he clearly is turned on by titles that catch your attention, like How My Son Died from Huffing Pain or whatever.
You could definitely see it being exploitative, or you could also see, his intent of making this like people are going up against a overwhelming evil that is around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a true artist in that sense. I mean, that is kind of your job as an artist, is to provoke thought, pretty much, you know, to express yourself and to stir feelings in others. And his work does that. And his titles, I mean, The Diary of Anne Frank Part 2. And then you're watching like some redneck, you're watching like Chloe Sevigny like rip tape off her nipples.
Yeah.
That's, oh my God. Oh, I do want to mention that, actually. This is one other thing about Gummo. It does have one scene that I hate because, and it's similar why I hate Euphoria. The scene where Sevigny and her sister are putting duct tape on their nipples and then ripping it off to do what?
I believe it's to wax the hair.
That's what they were doing?
I believe so.
Because that explains it. Because she's like, look, you can see it's wider now. I thought they were trying to do something of like making their nipples hard, but I'm like, that's not going to last. I guess I'm just an idiot, but I misunderstood.
We're not ladies, so we don't know why chicks would do this. Yeah. Maybe they were doing it to like make them perkier or something.
Something.
I don't know.
Who knows?
They were doing girl stuff.
But it's I mean, you could shoot that same scene and have it be less graphic. It is I mean, I don't know if that's considered graphic nudity. It's just like two girls' boobs.
It's not sexual, but it is nudity.
But there is a like 10-year-old girl in the background jumping on a bed in the mirror who can clearly see them. And in real life, I mean, that's not a fucked up idea to imagine, because in real life, I'm sure that tons of sisters have seen each other's chests or whatever. And like a girl who's like 18 years old, if she has a 10-year-old sister and they share a room, whatever, normal, I guess. Mm-hmm. But having a young girl standing next to Chloe Sevigny's like huge boobs in a movie gives me like this sickening anger of like, this is just like bait for pedophiles. Do you know what I mean? Not that he's intending for it to be used that way, but you know that scene is being used as like gooning material for like absolute monsters.
I get where you're coming from, but I don't necessarily agree that it's... I mean, here's the thing. Pedophiles will jerk off to anything. And man, you would fucking hate kids. I'm glad you did not watch that.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just hypersensitive to it. I don't even know why I have this. I don't know someone who's been molested that I know of. I don't have like a personal reason to be that angry about it, at least that I'm conscious of, but that is just something that just makes me go like, no, fuck you. Like, fuck this. Yeah. To the movie's credit though, it's not, the scene itself isn't creepy, but it does give me a like sickening feeling. And anyway, I had a hard time processing that, and I was like, oh God, fuck this movie. But I guess this shows how the movie's decent then, because it did kind of win me back with the rest of it.
Talking about sickening, Julien Donkey-Boy.
Take it away.
So Julien Donkey-Boy is a Dogma film, which applies to the Dogma 95 criteria. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get into it right now, but basically the whole idea is restricting the filmmaking techniques to break down film to its bare essentials, to get rid of Hollywood, the excess, the stuff that's unnecessary, that's polluting film.
Yeah.
In the idea of Lars von Trier.
I think it was Vinterberg's idea. Or maybe it was both.
Both of them were involved.
They both were. Yeah. I know von Trier is involved in it, but I think it was like a group of people. I've seen a video of Thomas Vinterberg, who made my favorite Dogma movie, The Celebration, which I want you to see someday. He talked about, he said that it was a game. Their intention was that it was a game to challenge the filmmaker to remove everything that they quote unquote dress their film with. So there's going to be no score, nothing that you do to help your movie succeed where it might lack in like the storytelling.
It's the bare essentials.
Yeah. You're using a camera and actors to tell a story, and that's it.
Yeah. So this is the first American Dogma film. I believe it was the 6th ever, I think. It was at kind of, around the beginning of the Dogma movement. But this is his last collab with Chloe, who, I don't know if you know this, he was dating at the time.
That makes sense.
It makes sense why she's in, 2 of his movies, and the first one he wrote. The cast for this movie is pretty crazy. So you have Werner Herzog as the overbearing German father. He's like a depressed alcoholic. I don't even know how to describe his character. He is so fucked up. Chloe as his sister, who is pregnant with a child that you do not know the father. Mm-hmm. And you have Ewan Bremer playing Julian, who is deeply schizophrenic and probably has other learning disabilities, but the main idea is that he has schizophrenia. So when Harmony was writing this, you could also see this as exploitative, which I'm sure a lot of people do, but Harmony does have an uncle with schizophrenia, which is why he wrote the film like this. So it is coming from a place of understanding and wanting to portray schizophrenia realistically. And I believe in his mind that this wasn't meant to be exploitative. How it comes off is entirely up to the viewer.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I don't think he's doing this to be like, oh, look, people with schizophrenia are weird.
Yeah, it's not I wouldn't call it gawkerish the way that elements of Gummo are.
Oh, yeah. So one of the first things you notice about this movie is how awful it looks.
Yes. One of the ugliest looking things I've ever watched.
Yes. So the first time I ever watched this, I think I was watching a DVD rip of it on like archive.org or something. And right now, as we're recording, it is streaming on the Criterion channel. I watched it again just recently for this. It still looks fucking terrible. It's
aggressively hard to watch. Like the quality of what did he even film this on?
It had to be like it was a Handycam, I'm pretty sure.
Did he like down-res it? I mean, like I don't think I've ever seen footage that looks this bad. Like, did they try to make it look? I mean, with him, I imagine if Korine is doing Dogma, he's really doing Dogma.
I don't know, but I mean, is there any dogma movie that actually looks good? I mean, even The Celebration looks...
That's true, but The Celebration, one thing that I love about The Celebration, I mean, it is shot on a terrible camera. Like, pixel-wise, it's an awful image, but there is... it's like the tool was bad tool, but they still used it well. Like, the shots are framed well, and The Celebration, you kind of, when you get used to it, when you get used to the bad quality, after like a few minutes, you kind of forget about that and you're just in it because it's still like shot well, composed well, the staging, the blocking, whatever. But Julien Donkey-Boy feels like, I mean, I'm guessing Korine just had the camera in his hand, but it does feel like he just gave it to someone and was like, hey, person who doesn't know what this scene's going to be, go in there and just point the camera wherever you think it's supposed to be. Like, it's shot, maybe this is on purpose, it's shot schizophrenically.
Yes. I mean, there was a ton of improv in this movie too, where it's like, I believe even the actors didn't know where stuff was going to go.
Yeah.
There was some behind the scene footage where with Ewan Bremer being in character as Julien, like behind the scenes method acting, which I think you really do have to do if you're going to play Julien correctly. Yeah. Because Ewan Bremer is a Scottish man who does not have schizophrenia. And then he's in this movie going, I can't get over it. I got Hitler in here.
This is one of the craziest performances. One of the bravest performances.
Yes, it is very transformative.
In any movie. I mean, I didn't even recognize him.
Yes.
For the first few. I mean, I was like, oh, that looks like the guy from Trainspotting. Mm-hmm. But it took me a minute to be like, oh, that's actually him.
Yes.
Because his first scene where does he kill that kid?
A kid is playing with either frogs or turtles in a park, and then Julien does something that the kid doesn't like and then ends up drowning the kid in mud or like this puddle.
It's really hard to tell what happens.
Yes.
I mean, you can tell the kid's dead. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it's just like, he has like this bizarre cadence. Everything about his voice is like off.
He does have the mentally impaired cadence,
I guess,
down pat pretty well. I'd like to talk about the characters in this movie because honestly, this isn't very narrative driven. No. There is an element that I don't want to get into too much. It's with Pearl's pregnancy. That is kind of the baseline that is continuous for the movie.
Yeah.
And if you're not into something without a narrative structure, you're not going to like this movie. I mean, this is hard to look at. This has disturbing subject matter and the plot is pretty much non-existent. Mm-hmm. But I still do like it. But the characters are really what sell it for me. I mean, Julien, dude, if the Oscars had any integrity, he should have been nominated.
He is fully committed and playing a completely different human. It is, I mean, it sounds so silly to say, but like he is doing the same level of like committed method acting that like Daniel Day-Lewis does.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just for the craziest movie of all time. Yes. So it's never going to get the respect that like he kind of deserves. I mean, I don't even have words. I can't believe it exists. I can't believe that's a real actor doing that. Like an average person has no stakes. Mm-hmm. Like sure, they might be able to pull that off or, you know, they would have no qualms with it. But the fact that a professional actor wasn't like, well, I'm not going to do that because that would like destroy on paper, this should be career ending.
Oh, yeah. But somehow for me, it works. And I guess for people, this didn't get great reviews, but people who were into this kind of thing were like, oh my God, this performance is crazy. And nobody's talking about this.
Yeah.
I do have to say, though, runner up for best performance, Werner Herzog, by a close margin. My God, this guy is crazy in this.
Everything I see him do in real life or in movies makes me love him more. Werner Herzog, if you don't know, I mean, just type his name into YouTube and anything you watch that comes up is going to be gold. Mm-hmm. One of the most captivating voices I've ever heard. Was he a soldier in war? Did he have some kind of traumatic, like, why is he's so not reactive to things. I mean, there's a famous video of him getting shot and being like, it is a minor wound, you know, he's just, maybe it's just how he is, but he's just one of the most nonchalant people ever. And he is giving a crazy, I mean, it's not crazy. If you just watched the movie and didn't know who he was, you'd be like, oh, that's just some weird guy. But watching him do the things he does in this movie was like shocking to me.
Yes. There are moments that are both hilarious and heartbreaking. There's one scene where, for the record, the mother in the family passed away during childbirth. So Werner has the son, Chris, come in, who's a wannabe wrestler. by the way, who's just like wrestling trash cans. He comes in and Werner's just like, this is your mother's wedding dress. I want you to put this on. And Chris is like, no, Dad, I don't want to do that. And he goes, here's $10. And the kid's like, no, I kind of want to leave now. And he's like, $10 is a lot of money. That's a month's salary in Bangladesh.
Yes. I thought of you when he says that too. When he talks about, yes, I thought of you during that exact line of dialogue. Yeah, he says something about like, you're the only, he's like, you have your mother's features. And I was like, okay, so he's clearly going to be a molester based on the other Harmony Korine stuff I've seen. Maybe it is implied that he is, I don't know, but he has this like weird rage that he's always either kind of nonchalant and depressed, or he's like losing his mind in the movie. I mean, the a winner doesn't shiver scene. Yes, iconic.
He's spraying Chris with a hose, saying like, "This will put some like meat on you."
Yeah, this will get hair on your chest.
Yes,
act like a man. Do not. He's like in swim trunks outside in like the fall, getting hosed by Werner Herzog for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
And he's, stop shivering. A winner does not shiver.
It really, did you ever have like friends growing up where their dad was like very abusive, like just sounding? Like they would say something and it's just like, your dad treats you like this?
I realized it recently. I had that thought during watching this movie because it reminded me of something where I was like, I never realized, I never put this together as a kid, but I think one of my friend's dads was like a psychopath.
Yes. Werner Herzog is playing that part perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were just like, this is my friend's just like angry father. Oh my God. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect casting, honestly, for Werner.
Yeah.
My other favorite scene with him, when he says something so funny. The fact also, side tangent, he's playing cards with a guy that doesn't have any arms and he's losing. Which is a very Harmony Korine joke.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
The scene at the dinner table where Julien is like, I got a poem. I'm going to say a poem. And then he says this really hacky, just boring poem that nobody likes, where it's like afternoon chaos, eternity chaos, evening chaos, eternity chaos.
Yeah.
And Werner's just like, no, I do not like that.
It is not a poem. Stop that.
He's like, it's so artsy fartsy. I do not like stuff like that. And he goes on to say that he's just like, what something is that's really good is the end of Dirty Harry.
So before you even started talking about that scene, I knew you were going there. And I also thought of you during that. And he points the gun and he says, how about you make my day? That's poetry.
Yes.
When Chris,
the younger son,
the youngest, the wrestler kid, there's a scene where he's fighting the yard waste bin and he jumps on it, dents it, and then throws it in the yard. And then Werner Herzog just appears. He's like, this is an unacceptable amount of plastic in my garden.
Werner goes from calm rage to just like outwardly screaming.
Yeah.
He's kind of an expert at acting. I wish he would act more.
Yeah. He's in Jack Reacher. He's the villain in Jack Reacher. Do you remember that?
Really?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. And has some speech where I remember vividly. I've only seen that movie once, but I remember to this day because it was the first time I've ever seen him. Didn't know who he was. He has some speech where he's like, when I was a child, I had to I'm just making this up, but I had to eat my mother to survive. It's just some crazy, I'm a villain. I'm super tough. What would you do to survive? He makes someone cut off their own hand or something. But that's the only other time I can remember seeing him act in something. He probably has other credits, and I need to consume them because this is gold.
Well, he was in the only good season of The Mandalorian.
Oh, fuck. I forgot. Yeah, he is in that. Okay, I've seen that too.
Which is so funny. It's just do you want to be in Star Wars? He's like, yes, I would like that. I want to see the baby puppet. That is the funniest thing, though, behind the scenes thing is... They wanted to use the CGI Baby Yoda too much. Werner Herzog had a meltdown on set and goes, you are all cowards, use the puppet. And they're like, okay, fuck, Jesus. So that's why the puppet is heavily used in season 1.
Huh.
Because of Werner Herzog.
Huh.
So he actually made a good decision for Star Wars.
What a hero.
Dude.
Him and Norm Macdonald.
Let Werner direct episode 10. I don't know, dude.
Let Werner direct Avengers.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Last scene I'll talk about, and I'm not going to say too much. This is the only Harmony movie where I've actually teared up and cried at. And it is a scene where Julien is on the phone talking to his mother. I don't want to say too much because I do think that you should go into that scene without knowing anything else that happens. But when you got to that part, how did you feel?
There are 3 scenes in this movie that really emotionally affected me. That was one of them. It weirdly, the movie kind of becomes believable and people start acting realistic for a moment. I mean, the character of Julien, I'll get back. I don't want to forget this. So I'll just ask right now. Why is it called Julien Donkey-Boy? What's the Donkey Boy part?
I don't believe they mention it in the movie, but I think behind the scenes, just that it's kind of like a term that bullies would probably use for him, because his face is like, he has like an overbite, and like very scraggly hair, so he could look like a donkey. I forget where he said this, but I think it is meant to just be like a phrase that a bully would say to Julien. Okay.
I overthought it. I thought for some reason it was implied that he's like mentally disabled and people would joke that he got kicked in the head by a donkey boy is like, maybe they say that and I missed that too. Maybe I'm just bad at paying attention to
I don't think they outwardly say it.
I couldn't tell if he was supposed to be like psychotically insane, because he murders a child over nothing.
The first scene.
And then it's never addressed. But I couldn't tell if he was supposed to be like crazy, like a homicidal maniac. I couldn't tell if he was supposed to be like, I don't know, I couldn't tell if he had like some kind of mental disability, developmental disability. I couldn't tell if he was supposed to be schizophrenic. I couldn't tell if he was just supposed to be like, oh, he literally got kicked in the head by a donkey, so he has like brain damage. Had no idea. But that scene, no matter what his condition is, that is a scene where you feel for him, as you see him as a human for the first time in the movie. And it is genuinely heartbreaking what's happening. And then, of course, the ending, like that's extremely hard to watch, especially as someone who knows lots of people who have developmental disabilities. And like seeing kind of a realistic portrayal of.
Yes, we don't want to go too in depth because it is a massive spoiler, but the entire like last 5 minutes, especially on the bus ride, which was just shot guerrilla style, and the people that were disturbed were just real people on the bus.
Makes sense.
Not extras.
It's effective.
And this is a good reason of why the Dogma film like style actually works there. They're getting real reactions to this very harrowing, disturbing scene. Yeah. And it's just real people reacting to it. And I will say, one of the final shots of him in bed under the blanket, haunting.
Extremely terrifying. Yes. It's like night vision.
Yes, it's night vision.
Of the most fucked up face of this. I mean, sorry out there. I'm sure you're handsome when you're normal, but like that guy has like a real monster face. And looking at it in night vision is like terrifying. Like that would give me nightmares if I was a little kid.
Yes, there are very arresting and beautiful shots in this movie, which is funny to say because it's shot on Handycam.
Yeah.
And looks like shit most of the time. But for how shitty it looks, there are a lot of things where it's like, how did you actually make it look this good?
A couple. There's a couple. I mean, most of it, in my opinion, most of it is like, it doesn't really look particularly staged or framed. Yeah. You know, it kind of looks like it is just captured. It looks like the whole thing is like, hey, we're just going to shoot this documentary style. Like, here's the scene, whatever. I'll be in the corner filming, you know. The other scene that really affected me was there's a scene where there's multiple scenes in the movie where Werner is like abusing his children in some way that's like played for comedy. And it is genuinely funny. The hose scene being the main one. Or he's just like reaming people out, yelling at them, or just saying hurtful things. There's a scene kind of near the end where he tells Julien to hit himself. Oh, and it's kind of a funny scene at first. He's like, slap yourself. You are a fool. And he's like yelling at him for no reason. And just Werner hearing that voice say those things is like kind of funny. And it had like a really sickening, like it like made me feel like I was going to throw up. It like really stirred some negative emotion in me.
Yeah, it starts out slow and then Julien just keeps hitting himself. And he's like, is this okay, Dad? Is this okay? Yeah. Like he's having a real schizophrenic meltdown. And how that scene starts is I believe they're at the dinner table or they're sitting close to each other. And Werner goes over to Julien and goes, tell your sister that she is a dilettante and a whore. And you're just like, oh my God, where is this stemming from?
But it's so funny. I think it's genuinely hilarious the way he says things like that. Where he's, and then he's telling her, like he thinks that Julien will listen to her. So he's like, tell him he should hit himself harder.
Yes.
But then something about it, it's like nothing really changes in what's happening, but just the time. Like I don't know. It's hard to describe the effect it has, but it is a really effective like flip. Because this thing that you've been laughing at that you know is awful, but it's just done so ridiculously. Like once it goes on and it's not like comedically edited, like it really it really flipped for me. That was like the moment where I was like, okay, I like this movie. This is a real movie that's actually this isn't just a bunch of shit.
It has something to say, and it's doing something interesting. Yeah. I feel like maybe, since Harmony does have an uncle with schizophrenia, certain scenes he shot in a way where you feel bad with yourself for laughing. Because like that scene does start out funny, you're right. And then eventually it goes into something harrowing and is like very abusive. And you can definitely relate it to maybe your past experiences or experiences of your friends, where I feel like it's very introspective. And I feel like he's doing that on purpose, where he wants to be like, hey, you're laughing at this person with schizophrenia, at this messed up family. I wonder if he had maybe like some realization with Gummo where he was showing people in poverty, and maybe people thought it was supposed to be funny, where he's like, no, this isn't funny. There are funny elements, but this scene isn't supposed to be comical. I wonder if he had a moment like that. And then in Julien Donkey-Boy, he's like, I need to make sure that people get what I'm saying.
It's effective. It made me, it definitely changed my mind. This was the first thing I watched of the Harmony Korine movies I watched. And it was the first thing that made me go like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't, because my opinion of him, I never seen his movies. So my opinion was like, oh, he's probably just some like douchebag who makes like Sean Baker movies. But this movie, the course of watching, I was like, okay, there is something here. I do see what Nick is talking about. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because the movie itself, like the agreement that you're making in your head is like, yeah, it's obviously bad to laugh at people who are in a terrible situation. But the kind of thing that you're telling yourself at the beginning is like, well, I'm doing something that I can't normally do with a movie, which is where I'm about to enjoy something that you normally are sickened by. And then by the end, you actually feel so terrible that like, it's like a reverse twist where it's like, it's so obvious that you should feel bad for enjoying it, but the movie makes it so enjoyable. And then when it's not anymore, like, I don't know, I guess it kind of makes you question like why it's funny, or why it's even taboo to show this kind of thing.
It's very meta, yeah.
Like, this movie isn't realistic, I would say, but there are plenty of families out there that are extremely fucked up with people doing versions of these things. And it's just not talked about.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Yes. I mean, the amount of disabled children come from a lot of very abusive families.
Extremely.
And it does stem from having to deal with a child that has developmental disabilities. Not that that is any reason to abuse your children, but just the stress of that impacting the families. I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And if you're not in a situation to, like, that's going to require an extremely strong-willed parent to, like, keep that household in order. So if your parent is Werner Herzog, who's like drinking shoe polish and dancing naked in a hotel room.
In a gas mask.
Drinking out of a shoe. Or what is it? No, that's what it is. It's not shoe polish, but he's like reading the bottle. He's like, do not consume if you have a weak constitution. And then he like takes a sip and he's like, oh, my constitution must be weak or something like that.
So
great.
Would you recommend this to somebody who is film minded like us? Not your grandparents or a random average Joe. To somebody like us, do you think it has any merit and is worth watching?
If I showed this to my grandmother, she wouldn't talk to me again. There is merit to it. I think that most people aren't going to agree with that, though. I do think that, it is subjective. It is pretty subjective whether or not this movie is just like a piece of shit. Every movie is, but this more than any other movie is like, I really can't argue with anyone's take after watching this. But if after listening to this discussion, you can picture a movie you might at least be able to stomach, then you might get something out of it. I mean, I was not enjoying it at first, but it did affect me. I think if you're open to just going with the flow, it's like being in a lazy river. Like, if you go with the current, it will take you somewhere.
I think it's worth watching at least once if you're interested in it. Last thing I'll say is this movie is still stuck on DVD and has been for at least 20 years. I will say there is some hope, though, because like I said, it's streaming on Criterion. They just did his release of Gummo in 4K. I mean, this isn't going to look any better if it's released on Blu-ray, but that DVD is out of print.
Yeah.
So get on it. I will buy a copy. I will pre-order a copy.
We'll print copies. We'll pirate it.
Yes.
We will distribute copies out of your apartment.
We are not going to do that, for the record. I will call my lawyer. A couple movies that I do want to talk about, I'll go through real quick because you didn't see any of these, but I do think they're worth mentioning. So between this and his next movie he directed, which was Mr. Lonely, there are two that I want to talk about. The first one is his abandoned short film called Fight Harm.
Okay.
So have you heard of this at all?
No.
This is something that garnered a lot of respect for him in my brain. Mm-hmm. So this was the era of, I think it was pre-Jackass. I forget when Jackass came out, but this had to be like late 90s. Mm-hmm. So he had an idea of doing something in the style of, I believe it was like Buster Keaton and the Marx Brothers, where he's like, I love physical comedy, which is actually where the name Gummo comes from, Gummo Marx. He's one of the Marx Brothers that like never did anything.
Okay.
So he was like, here's my idea for a short film. It wasn't going to be a short film. It was going to be a feature length, like, you know, guerrilla style, like prank movie. Uh-huh. So the premise is he would go around town starting fights with people, Harmony himself, but he couldn't throw the first punch. He also had to pick on somebody that was bigger than him, which I guess is, you know, fair. Yeah. You know, you can't just beat up like homeless people.
Yeah.
And he also had to get drunk before. So he would go around town going to like bouncers and be just like, hey, man, fuck you. I'm going to beat you up. And so he'd get the bouncer to like just punch him in the face. Uh-huh. And then he'd grab like a brick and hurl it at him. And they filmed 9 fights. Okay. Harmony was in the hospital multiple times, got arrested, got bailed out. A lot of people, once they realized this, would like sign the release and be like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was a prank. And some people were just like, oh, that's funny. Uh-huh. But he is assaulting people, or not starting it, but I guess he is inciting violence.
Sure.
And he's never pressing charges against any of these people because he thinks it's funny.
What a monster. That's really funny, but like what a crazy thing to do.
Yeah, so there are some videos of him getting beat up, but this footage is not, it's been shown a couple times. Mm-hmm. And I know he has this footage because he showed it at like, I forget what it was, like Venice Film Festival, like to the crowd. Mm. So after 9 fights and getting just bailed out so many times and spending so much money on bail, he's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I have so many injuries. And he's like, how many minutes of footage do we have? And they said, 17. And he's like, I have 17 minutes of footage in entirety of all my fights. Uh-huh. And he's just like, I can't keep doing this. I'm going to die.
Yeah. I mean, one of those punches, like, if anyone takes a punch to the head, you could die if you land wrong.
People die, yeah. They just land on their head in a fucked up way, and you're doing 20 years for that. But I do want to say this as a call to action. The reason why I talk about this, I desperately need to see this. Mm-hmm. Please release the entire footage. They got everybody to sign releases, I believe. I don't know if it's like a rights thing or something. Mm. If you can somehow release this, Harmony, please do.
It's probably, I mean, it's kind of, isn't it like self-incriminating? I mean, isn't that a crime to like provoke, like to use like fighting words to get someone to attack you?
I guess, but I mean, it's all done now. I mean, he got bailed out of jail and everything is probably resolved. I mean, this was filmed like 30 years ago. Almost.
Yeah, it's not a like we can't confirm. Like people have seen it, they know it's real.
Yes, the fact that he has it on his phone and has shown it in like art installations in the past means that I don't think it's a rights issue. I think that I think he mentioned in the past that he needs to wait for it to like release it at a time where it's funny. That time is now. Caleb and I are going to get drunk and watch Fight Harm, and we're going to have a great night.
Please, Harmony.
Other film that I want to talk about after this is Ken Park, the other film that he wrote for Larry Clark. Mm-hmm. This movie came out in 2002, which was about a decade after Kids, but it was actually written immediately after Kids. Not after Kids released, but after he finished the script for Kids. Larry Clark slipped him a napkin that said, I want you to write something that has these elements in it. We don't know what they are. But Larry Clark was trying to write this and realized he's a fucking hack and couldn't do it. And he said, these are all based on like my real life experiences or stories I've heard. Mm-hmm. And it's just children having sex with each other.
Wow.
So if you thought Kids was exploitative, my God, Ken Park, first of all. So you have Ray from Generation Kill just jerking off, almost killing himself through autoerotic asphyxiation, and actually coming. It's real. This is not like a stand-in, like how Lars von Trier did Nymphomaniac, where he had like porn stars do it, and the face was like imposed on them in post. No, these people are actually masturbating.
Is this the first scene?
No, this is like halfway through the movie.
Okay. I don't know why I thought you had said that.
So,
I think I'm schizophrenic. I think
you're like Julien, dude.
I am like Julien. I'm like hearing things that aren't happening. I'm not listening to the movies I'm watching.
So how this movie starts is very interesting. It starts with a kid going to a skate park, setting up a camera, taking out a gun, and shooting himself on camera.
Okay.
There's actually a very famous GIF that you may have seen if you were a degenerate like me in the 2000s, where it's a guy shooting himself, like looking at the camera and a bullet goes through his head.
No, I have no.
And
I don't like that kind of shit. I don't snuff shit or like the I mean, I've only recently seen the video of well, that's it. Like and I only saw that because of you, because like, but yeah, that kind of shit, I don't like that shit.
Rest in peace, Ronnie McNutt. Anyway, so that's how the movie starts. And then it cuts to a photograph of these 5 kids, which are the main characters of the movie. Mm-hmm. And they say like, oh, that was our friend Ken. And he just killed himself. And we're all friends who hang out. So the suicide has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. Throughout this movie, everybody has like a story that takes place and are unrelated to each other. Nothing intersects in any meaningful way. Like in Happiness, you were talking earlier, it's like these characters talk to each other through the course of the movie. Everything is just unrelated, which I thought was really disappointing. It's like, why would you do this? It turns out actually that Harmony has rejected this movie. The script he wrote, Larry Clark just like fucked with it so much that I don't think he ever like saw it. And he doesn't consider this as part of his filmography, really. And he shouldn't, because it's just something he wrote. But
yeah,
every single story is just kids are having sex, parents are abusive, and it's basically pedophile bait. Like if you thought Kids was just like, or the scene in Gummo where the girl's like jumping on the back, these kids, they're played by actors who are over 18 for the record, but they're having, in my opinion, unsimulated sex.
Okay.
There's a scene at the end that is a threesome, and Larry Clark, I had to do some research on this. He says he's given like very oddly like evasive answers. Somebody asked him one time at a festival, so is the sex in Ken Park like simulated or unsimulated? And he kind of gave like I don't know, is there sex in the movie? And it's like, oh, so you definitely, they were having sex.
Yes.
The actress in said scene says it was simulated, but she is holding the dude's penis and her face is like right next to it. And you see her tongue licking the penis. You could say that's a camera trick, but she's at least holding his penis. So that is by, in essence, unsimulated.
That's a sex act, at least.
That is a sex act, yes. So Larry Clark is oddly evasive in this movie where kids who say they are under 18 are having threesomes, jerking off to completion. There's a kid that is just having like an affair with some older lady who's like a soap star. By the way, I forget her name, but he's just like eating her pussy. She's cheating on her husband, who's just the voice of Patrick Star.
Wait, Patrick Faberbake or whatever?
Yeah, whatever his name is. Yeah.
He's in Ken Park.
Yes.
And is he in one of these unsimulated sex scenes?
No.
Okay.
But he's just in there for like 5 minutes and he's like, hey.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't realize.
That would be fucking crazy.
That would be amazing. But this movie fucking sucks dick. All the stories are not connected at all. The only time they actually meet up is at the end where they're just like having a threesome. And this is, like I said, this is just pedophile bait.
Just misanthropic people going around having casual sex.
Yes.
By Larry Clark.
All the people are irredeemable. There's only one storyline that I thought was like kind of interesting, where this girl's dad is like very Christian and abusive, but in a way that doesn't seem like it's making fun of Christianity. It is a very interesting character. And I can definitely tell that that was the part that Harmony wrote that they kept in. You can definitely tell the benchmarks of his dad, who's very religious. Because surprisingly, Harmony is a practicing Jew. But a lot of his movies do have very Christian elements. Like Julien Donkey-Boy has a scene where they're at like a black church and he has like a religious experience. We'll get into Spring Breakers that has religious parallels. But it's surprising that somebody who isn't a Christian is portraying Christianity in quite an interesting and supportive light in a lot of his films.
In a non-judgmental or critical way.
Yes, which kind of lends credence to a lot of his films not being exploitative.
Well, they are. I mean, Jews are Christians' greatest ally. The Judeo-Christian heritage goes way back.
Okay, Rabbi.
I mean, like, it actually makes perfect sense. That is interesting to know that he's practicing Jewish, because I just assumed he was just like an agnostic, waspy, whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's that scene in Gummo where the black midget has the Star of David t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like and it just seems like it's just not an anti-Semitic joke, but it's just the joke is that like he's wearing, like, isn't that funny that he's wearing like Jewish garbage? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't really get the sense that his movies were pro-Christianity. I mean, I guess Spring Breakers, we'll get to that. That definitely was different, but I don't remember which one it was. But I think in Gummo or Julien Donkey-Boy, one of those movies has like a scene with, what's the satanic imagery of like the dude with like the goat head or whatever? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you mean. I don't know what the term for that is.
I feel like you see that for a second in one of those two movies. And it's like, I think it's in Gummo during one of those weird like montages of things.
Probably.
And I remember seeing that and going like, is this movie trying to subliminally like just disrespect because like the people in it are like Christians, but it's portraying them as like complete fucking dipshits who believe in a god who hates them and is about to kill them with tornadoes, you know. And then the black dude is wearing the Star of David t-shirt, and there's like the satanic like subliminal thing or whatever. And I was like, is Harmony Korine just trying to spit in the eye of everybody? Anyway,
last thing I say about Ken Park is this movie, I believe, was released on DVD, but it was banned in Australia for the subject matter, because in Australia, you can't say that somebody is underage in the movie and show them having like adult sex. Mm-hmm. Even if these are all adult actors, but in Australia, you just can't do that. Mm-hmm. It has been hard to release because of music licensing issues. They have a lot of licensed music that I guess either they didn't square away properly or something, but this movie has been like hard to show for like 20 years. Mm. And not that you should see it, but the reason why nobody talks about it is because it's really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Like hard to find. Like literally hard to watch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, FBI, if you're listening, Larry Clark, raid that house. Yes. There's something in there that could.
Every movie he's written has like underage sex.
Yeah.
Or has directed.
The fact that he's like, all right, Harmony, I got this note card for you. Yes. It says children fucking.
It says child penis.
I have my idea for my next movie, and he hands it over, and it's just like pedophilia and like pedophilic imagery. And it's like, okay. I mean, I didn't know what he looked like. I don't know anything about him, but I Googled him, and looking at his face, I mean, that guy deserves to be in jail. You can just tell. He's doing something.
Yes.
He's up to no good. Mm-hmm. So raid his house, please.
Yes. Check his hard drive.
Allegedly.
Yeah. He is.
Allegedly.
What are you going to do? Anyway, next two films I'm going to go over briefly because I don't really like them personally. Mr. Lonely is his largest budgeted film at $8 million. Okay. Spring Breakers, which had a wider release and looks better than this.
Looks expensive.
Yes. Did not have as high a budget.
Oh.
But I don't like Mr. Lonely for a couple reasons. First of all, it's his most, surprisingly, a commercial movie. Kind of, I need to do something to like please everybody. And it doesn't land at all for me for that reason. Yeah. I mean, it is basically about celebrity impressionists that create a commune in like a castle in Scotland. And there are good performances. I will say this. The main guy is Diego Luna.
Okay.
Who's in like Andor now and like a bunch of other stuff. He plays like a Michael Jackson impression guy. And he's good. He does have some good moments. And you can definitely tell that there's like heart behind him. He's doing a good job. Diego Luna is actually a good actor. One of the other guys is, who is he? I think he's Charlie Chaplin. And it's did you ever see Beau Travail, the Claire Denis movie?
I've never seen a Claire Denis movie.
Okay. For anybody who knows, the main guy who like becomes jealous of the young soldier is just in this movie. And it's very funny to see him pivot from such a like serious, like refined, repressed role to just be like screaming at Marilyn Monroe. So that is funny.
Yeah.
But this film to me is just very empty. I don't really connect with anything in there. With Gummo, you can at least connect with like something of the human element. Or in Julien Donkey-Boy, it is like a very like interesting portrayal of somebody with schizophrenia. Mr. Lonely, there's nothing to grab onto, in my opinion.
That's consistent with what I've heard about it, which isn't a lot. But I mean, I only have one thing to say about Mr. Lonely, basically, which is that all I know about it, and actually the way I learned about Harmony Korine was I was an early fan of Red Letter Media, and they reviewed Spring Breakers when it came out or talked about it at some point. And I forget who was, I think Jay was talking about it, and he said that that he was a fan of the movie, but he didn't really like the director, Harmony Korine's other work, because he had made this movie called Mr. Lonely, which was about celebrity impersonators. And the whole movie, he intuited that it was probably Harmony Korine's most personal movie, because his feelings were that Harmony Korine was like a Emperor Wears No Clothes faux auteur artistic guy, like a guy impersonating an avant-garde Lars von Trier, Thomas Vinterberg, like indie transgressive director kind of guy. So that's kind of the initial impression I had of Harmony Korine based on that kind of analysis. So I never had any inkling to watch his movies just because my taste kind of lines up with theirs usually. But I have seen or heard people talk about Harmony Korine and specifically Mr. Lonely and pretty much all the exact same conclusion, which is that the movie feels very vapid, hollow, nothing of substance, nothing that makes you think, which I would understand someone having that opinion about, let's say, Gummo or something. I get why people would say that. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. And Mr. Lonely does seem like there's just no point in watching it.
Yeah. And then I'll just leave it at that. You don't need to watch it. You can skip it. And it's why he doesn't have big budgeted movies anymore.
Oh, because it was just so bad.
It was a flop. Yeah. Next one, Trash Humpers, which I was kind of skeptical if I wanted you to watch this or not. Because if you thought that Julien or Gummo had no plot, this has like a negative plot. It is just people. It's 3 people going around in old people masks. Like, what is that thing? Bad Grandpa?
Oh, okay. Like kind of realistic.
Yes. It's
quote unquote realistic masks.
Yeah. For the time, fairly realistic. But they're just going around Nashville at night, just committing crimes, just like breaking to people's houses.
And a pattern with Harmony.
Yes. There really is no overarching narrative. There's nothing that you can like follow the entire time.
Sure.
Besides, that there are 3 of them. And this actually was based on a story he had growing up in Nashville where he said a group of elderly peeping Toms would come out at night wrapped in shrubbery, covered in dirt, and they all worked at the local Krispy Kreme.
Which is man real?
Dude, Nashville's fucking crazy, apparently. That's going to be the new Austin, dude. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But I do think there are moments of this that are interesting. I don't really vibe with it because it's just not my kind of thing. It's very... In his later work, he gets into the vibes. A lot of his movies have no plot or narrative. When we get into Aggro Drift, it really is just nothing is of substance is being said, but he wants it to look a certain way. And I will say this. He wanted it to look like something that you would find at a flea market, like just a VHS tape that somebody filmed of their friends committing crimes, like a real...
Poughkeepsie tapes.
Yes. Found footage, something that seems... like there was no regard to making it look good when they were filming it. Like the
characters of the people filming themselves. It's made to be viewed like you actually did just discover a video file unedited.
Yes. They actually at one point planned to just like leave these tapes around town, like under a bridge, and people would put them together and make the movie that way. But then like the lawyers were like, well, you can't claim ownership of the movie that way. And he's like, well, I guess that's true.
Really?
Well, if you're just leaving it and people are finding your movie, it was a legal thing where they're like, you probably shouldn't do that.
Oh, because when other people assemble it, they've done something new with it. You own the pieces.
Probably.
Okay.
I will say this. One thing that I do like about this is he edited it on a VCR. And the reason why he did that is they use multiple VCRs. And depending on how you actually like cut it, there is like a random element with, I guess, like maybe like the tracking or something, to make it look like it really was just like shoddily put together. And it was shoddily put together, I guess, in theory. But there's really no reason to watch this unless you find the idea of people in old people masks committing crimes interesting.
Yeah, and I don't.
There's nothing also like shocking in the sense of anything they do. Like sometimes they'll just beat somebody up or they find like, I don't know, like a baby doll and like throw it around. If that's something you think you'll probably like it. And it looks how he wanted it to look. So bravo to him. But I don't really like stuff like that.
Is he not a rich kid?
His dad was a tap dancer. I know that much.
How is he not a rich? This is such like behavior of like his impulses line up 100% with the behavior of like just a spoiled Hollywood brat. Like, how did he not grow up like wearing Supreme and like crashing expensive. It's like he has this desire to create things, but it's tainted with this like complete disregard for like how he's perceived or what anyone cares or thinks, or it's like everything is like, it's like the art is a joke on anyone who's even consuming it or something. He just has this like carefree, nihilistic thing that like, I don't know how you develop that if you're not a spoiled rich kid.
Yeah. Well, this is the perfect lead into his next movie, the only one that ever made money.
Understandable.
Spring Breakers. So you just finished watching this today when I woke up, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was a big moneymaker. A24 production back in 2013, I believe, with James Franco, Selena Gomez, and Vanessa Hudgens. His now wife, Rachel, plays, I think, Cotty.
I didn't pick up on any of their names except Faith.
Yeah, she has the pink streak in her hair.
Yeah.
For the record.
The one with the excessive nudity.
Yes. Yeah, Spring Breakers is by far my favorite of his movies. It is the most plot-driven, I think you could say.
Yeah.
Which is surprising.
I would say it's the only plot-driven one.
Yeah, sure.
At least that's what I've seen.
Beach Bum is plot-driven too, but Spring Breakers is definitely like... This actually has a beginning, middle, and end. Mm-hmm. People do stuff for reasons. There is the most character development.
It's a normal movie.
It is a normal movie. Probably A24 is like, listen, can you make us money one time?
Well, this was the flagship movie for them, right? Wasn't this the first A24 film?
I don't know about first, but definitely one of the first.
One of the first.
Yes.
It took a really long time for my mental image of A24 not to be like Spring Breakers.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, because this movie was... like I would say at least a minor phenomenon when it came out. Like it was talked about a lot, at least with people that I knew in school.
It was controversial for many reasons.
Yeah, it was a definite thing that was in the culture. Mm-hmm. And then I started seeing that logo on other movies, and you know, I mean, A24 became probably like a household name, at least to film people, in like 2016, probably, like with Moonlight, and like The Lobster and stuff. But this was like the defining movie for them, at least to me and people that I knew for a while. This was like it's a real movie. It's a real movie with like real actors you've seen and a plot and a story, and it's a quality movie and everything. And I mean, I'd never seen it until now, but I trusted it was probably good. I just never got around to watching it because, you know, I can already see the nudity online for free. So why am I gonna watch James Franco say like, look at my shit?
I got so much shit. Look at all my shit.
Look at my shit.
I say that all the time.
I love that scene. I love that scene so much.
Yeah, I love he's just like, I got Calvin Klein B. Mix that up with Calvin Klein Embrace. I smell nice. I smell nice.
Good.
Yeah. Scarface on repeat.
It's on repeat all day.
Yeah, I love that part. Interesting thing when I was looking at the crew for this, it has the same cinematographer as Irreversible by Gaspar Noé.
Ooh.
So if you've seen Irreversible, you can definitely put together a lot of the artistic choices and some of the parallels, especially with lighting. It is also a very good time capsule for 2013.
Yeah.
Especially with the music, too. It starts off with Skrillex and ends with Ellie Goulding.
Whatever that song is.
Yeah.
But you hear that just mildly in the background, and I was like, oh, transport.
To me, I'm just taken back like straight to middle school.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is my favorite. I think this is on my top 10 list of all time.
I want to know why. Tell me about that. I mean, are other Harmony Korine movies in your top 10?
No, this is the only one in the top 10.
So this is the thing that made you a fan of him, right?
Yes. When I saw this, I had seen, my first experience was with Gummo when I bought like a DVD off of eBay. And I was just like, okay, this was good.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then I saw stuff online where people were saying like Spring Breakers is one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen, which I don't agree with. No, there are disturbing elements, especially when James Franco does something with a gun that I don't want to say. I want people to experience.
Crazy.
I showed this to like 5 or 6 people who I was not friends with, because they offered me weed and they're just, yeah, we'll watch this. And I'm like, okay. One of the most uncomfortable moments of my life.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like this movie a lot because I do think it says a lot about the human condition.
Okay.
People are led, and this is why it's actually a Christian story, because it starts with Selena Gomez's character named Faith, which is kind of on the nose, I agree. But she's at Bible study with a very funny pastor who's like one of those jacked up, tattooed youth guys. I think he's a wrestler in real life.
Yeah, he's like a Black Rifle Coffee Jesus freak.
Yeah, he's like, he asks him, are you jacked up?
Sound check! Like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you definitely see that Selena Gomez is the more straight edge, based in reason friend. And you have Vanessa Hudgens and the other chick we're talking about. Right?
I already forgot her name.
I forgot her name.
The other blonde.
The blonde lady, who's not his wife. They are the most kind of, what do you call these people? Easily led astray.
Crazy pussy.
Yes.
That's what they're called. They are, that's what they are.
They are the most evil characters in the sense that they do have this evil deep inside them.
Black-eyed nihilism youth.
Yes.
With a penchant for extreme violence.
Yes. And then they do have the friend who kind of sits in the balance, which is Rachel, his wife, who I believe her name is like Cotty in there. But she is kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
She's a party girl.
She's a party girl, and she isn't as Christian as Faith. But she just wants to go on spring break and relax. And you can definitely see that early on when they rob the, what was it?
Like a Korean food restaurant or something?
Some restaurant. They want to go to spring break, but they have no money. And they're just like, oh, this is so lame. Everybody's left. We want to go to St. Petersburg and party. So the two evil characters, they decide, you know what? We're just going to like steal a car because we know where somebody's car is.
Their professor's car.
Yes. And they're like, we're just going to rob this joint. So they put on like masks and have hammers and basically rob everybody with a fake like squirt water gun, get the money to go on spring break. And one thing that's interesting to note is the two evil characters are in the shop doing it. The fence sitter character is driving. So she's not actually partaking in the event.
Yes.
And that's a very important element to show their character.
And great. That's an amazing shot too.
Oh, it's
she's
beautiful.
Driving around the restaurant as it's being robbed, and you're in her perspective looking at the robbery, and you can hear it, and you can kind of just see like a crazy scene in there, but you're not really getting all the details.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that might be one of my favorite scenes that he's ever shot in terms of just like the mechanics that go into it.
For me, that is the best idea executed in any of his work that I've seen.
Yes. The lead up to that is also very beautiful. They're just like in the pouring rain and they're just like, just pretend it's a video game.
Yeah.
And they drive through it. Beautiful nighttime photography that I guess it's a tracking shot of them around the restaurant when they're robbing it. And that was the moment when I watched this where I knew this movie had the, what would you call it? When people talk about this, I always thought it was kind of one of those things where like, oh, it's just like sex and nudity or something. I thought it was going to be very surface level. And then I see this and I go, hold on, wait a minute. This might have something to it. And this is what, when I fell in love, I was like, okay, this has something. And then eventually they do get to St. Petersburg. And I don't want to say too much because the story does go interesting places.
It didn't, at about the halfway point, I knew what the movie's plot was up to the point where they meet Alien, played by James Franco, in probably his best role.
I agree.
I think this was like, I don't really, I mean, like most people, I really don't like James Franco.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of a really overrated hack as an actor. I think he's not that great. I think performances that people even say are his best are still kind of whatever. I mean, he did a decent job playing Tommy Wiseau, I guess, but whatever. He's genuinely like kind of disappearing into this character, not just because he looks, crazy with the cornrows and the like silver teeth and all that shit, or gold teeth, I forget.
Yeah.
But he is giving a genuinely good performance, but I digress. I knew that the movie was going to be these girls are going to spring break. They get there. They're like easily corruptible. They're on drugs. I thought for some reason that they were like going to a Christian school and all four of them were like very like proper, wouldn't do anything crazy. And they get corrupted by the scene. And then they meet this guy who gives them a place to stay and money or whatever. And then something happens, but I didn't know what that something was. And it does take a lot of turns. Like there's a lot of moments in this movie where like, oh, yeah, okay. I was not seeing it coming. One
thing about the characters I do really like that you just mentioned is a lot of movies or scripts, I think, would have all the characters start out as Christian and then be led astray one by one. The reason why I do like this is because it starts out knowing that her friends are bad people, that there is that innate evilness inside them, that anybody, when pushed to a certain extent or given free reign, will just enter.
Yeah.
The girls that are the most corruptible.
Yeah. They're a powder keg for chaos.
Yes.
And she knows it.
Yes. They are waiting for the exact moment to kick off and fully live what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, they're willing to rob a place just to go on spring break.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they're going to do when they're given the keys to the city?
Yeah, it's not the conventional A to B to C, like, look where we started, look where we ended up. It's not a Breaking Bad arc for all of them, which is what you would expect. Yes. And I like that it's different. It's actually kind of feels like it really could happen that way.
Yes.
The movie's plot, which we won't spoil.
Yes, I do genuinely. Is this your favorite out of the three you saw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is the closest to an actual movie, and I do think that it is the easiest to watch because, like, Julien Donkey-Boy is a dogma movie and looks like shit. Gummo just deals with some shit that you sometimes just don't want to watch. Spring Breakers does speak to the average person the most. Yeah. And that isn't a bad thing. I actually think it helps.
I really don't understand the controversy. This is not this movie has things in it that tons of popular celebrated movies explore very similarly. It's not that nihilistic. Yeah. It's pretty realistic. It's pretty fair for the most part. The nudity is just boobs.
Yes, there's no penetration like a Larry Clark movie.
Yeah, I don't know why this movie was treated like it was, The Wolf of Wall Street or something.
And I will say this, I actually have a theory that A24 is ashamed of this movie because now they do stuff that's more highbrow, like Lamb.
Yeah, like making Marvel movies now with Ayo Edebiri. Fuck.
I can't believe they're doing that. But I do have a theory that they're ashamed of this because, and I'll let you know, this movie, the most recent physical release it has is like 2014, like 1080p Blu-ray, which is fine for most intents and purposes, but for the past couple years, they've been re-releasing this every like spring. I saw this in a theater in Seattle in 4K, which tells me that there is a 4K transfer of this movie that A24 is sitting on and will not give a physical release. Harmony is fine. This doesn't have any rights issues or anything, of course, because they're showing it in movie theaters. Yeah. So it kind of begs the question, why are they sitting on a pile of cash? There are a lot of people that consider this his best movie, like me, who would buy a physical release of this in like an upgraded quality. Like imagine seeing this in like 4K on like a good TV.
It would probably hurt my eyes to watch that on a small TV because there's a lot going on in the frame. It's very high saturation, but it would probably be epic to see this on a movie theater screen. I imagine. I'm kind of sad that I never did.
It was great. Next spring we can go maybe if they
let's go to St. Petersburg and shoot some people.
But yeah, I think A24 is just ashamed of this because if you go to the website on A24 where you can buy like I don't know, all the scripts or just like merch from all the stuff. They're overpriced t-shirts. It cost like $50. They have like almost no mention of this movie on their site.
Maybe, well, yeah, I guess I was going to say that maybe the physical release is just a thing of there isn't enough demand that it's like, hey, we're going to be investing X amount of money to print these 4Ks, which is probably not cheap. I mean, not that it's expensive for them, but if they're not really talking about it, I don't know, maybe they just don't want more shit. Maybe the backlash was so bad or so traumatizing to whoever's in charge of A24 back in the day when they were new that they just don't want to invite it. But I mean, even that doesn't really make sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think something is shifty.
Something's off.
And the weirdest thing is there actually is a possible sequel in the works, which I do not think should exist, for the record.
Really?
It was in talks like in 2014, 2015. And then Harmony wasn't attached to the project. And then Franco and some of the other people were like, no, it shouldn't happen. I think within the past year, interest from the people involved, like in writing the sequel, like it's popped back up. But I mean, if you're listening, do not make a sequel to this. It is not going to be as good as the original. I mean, what more what are you going to do? Like, what can you possibly do with it?
I love that in your mind, Harmony Korine is not only listening to this, but he's going to go, okay, I won't do it because Nick said so.
Just two. I'll listen
me.
Yes. Because you haven't seen all his movies, that's why.
Yeah, hopefully that transfer does come out. I mean, this is a movie that if you're a fan of movies, you probably could enjoy it. This is a movie that has really good acting. It's really good to look at. The music choices are nice. And it's short, too.
Gucci Mane's in it.
Gucci Mane's in it. When it was over, I was like, oh. I mean, like, I didn't feel cheated. I mean, the story was over, but it flies by. I guess I asked you this and you did talk about it a little bit. You mentioned that this movie is like spiritual. Maybe you did this off mic, I forget. But you talked about how like what you found in it, the depth that you found in it, the thing that you were connected to. I kind of want to hear more about that. Why is this in your top 10?
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit, talking about the innate evil that's in people. but I do like how it explores. I mean, basically, they are entering like Sodom in this movie in like the most biblical sense of temptation and drugs and just filtered access to anything they want. Like, these women are just giving guns by James Franco character. He just gives them guns. He has sex with them, gives them all the drugs they want. He's like pandering to them. He is, in a very Christian sense, the devil leading them into temptation.
Sure.
Where the movie goes, especially in the end, you can see where sometimes when people are led to this temptation, they can be worse than the people leading them into the temptation. They can go farther. They can become the new evil. And it's like a cycle of just not abuse, but evil that's in the world.
Yeah, I didn't even think about, I mean, I was raised Catholic, so the religious subtext, or just text, honestly, I mean, it's pretty blatant. Kind of, I didn't really analyze it too deeply because Faith is turned off by Alien, the rapper, the cornrows rapper played by James Franco.
Yeah, she's always very stoic in her faith. It's very unwavering.
Yes. She immediately knows. She's like, okay, this is bad news. This is not. She's the only one who's level-headed about it. And I didn't really think about it much deeper than, like, if you're that kind of character and you're a religious person, you obviously see that this is bad news, et cetera, et cetera. But that is interesting. I didn't think about that from the idea that, like, yeah, Alien is kind of representing like the devil in the desert when Jesus was like in the desert for 40 days without food, and he's offering him, like, because they are in a desperate situation, and it's a trade-off. Like, I'll free you and I'll give you everything you want, but shit's gonna go crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know how to say this without it sounding like in a judgy way, because I don't mean this in an insulting way at all. I like the movie. I don't see what is, because to me, like, the things that I would put in my top 10, because, by the way, Harmony Korine is in one of my favorite movies of all time, Waves.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently I don't know what scene he's in. I looked it up, and he plays a guy named Mr. Stanley. I guess he's one of the teachers in high school. I don't know. And I think he produced it or something, and maybe that's why he's in it. I don't know. But, like, the stuff that, like, my favorite movies are things that they do speak to me, and they have themes that are deep and resonant and whatever based on my personality, which it seems like for Spring Breakers is, one of the main connections for you.
Exactly.
But, like, the movie itself, I wouldn't say it's particularly deep. It's kind of, it's like a frothy, it's a party, it's a movie about people partying, doing bad shit, and then, the cards land where they may, I didn't sense a particularly strong message outside of, like, if you fuck around, you find out.
I can definitely see what you're saying. And there are people, like, who do like this movie who are just like, yeah, I don't get, like, the big hype around it, but it is generally, like, I understand the themes. I can't really articulate in any other sense other than I see what you're saying, but I disagree and do find them deep. Okay. It's perfectly fine. For the record, if you do not find this as deep as I do, 100% understandable. Yeah. What you may not find deep, I do, that resonates with me on a personal level about the human element. That's the most succinct way that I could put it. Yeah. I like movies that deal with humanity and say something about our innate nature.
I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on Waves if you ever watch it.
I'll watch it.
Because that's also similar to Spring Breakers. That's an A24 movie in Florida with Harmony Korine in it. He's not in Spring Breakers, is he? I didn't see him. He doesn't have a cameo or something.
No, I don't think so.
He might be in one of those party scenes. He might be one of the people drinking beer off of, like, a blonde teenager's tits or something. I would be very curious to hear your thoughts on Waves, because that movie does, like, touch my soul in a way that most movies don't. And I've turned a few people onto it who've watched it, and they don't like it as much as I do. And it makes me feel kind of, because there's a lot of movies that I like that I turn people onto that they see the same things in it that I do, because they're just kind of objectively considered good movies, I guess. And Waves, I mean, it's a well-reviewed film. Like, people liked it, but it didn't make waves with anybody. And I don't think it's remembered at all. But when I tell people to watch it and they watch it, they go like, yeah, that's fine. And I'm like, am I crazy? Because, like, when I watch it, it has, like, there's all this stuff I see in it that people go like, okay, whatever.
You're not crazy. The way that I think is best to describe is, I mean, you and I are definitely having the same, like, feelings. How you feel about Waves is probably how I feel about Spring Breakers. One thing that people don't realize often is that not everybody has the same experience as you do that make you appreciate the movie in the same way. I mean, I know girls who are kind of like the Spring Breakers characters. Not saying that you have to know it like that, but to me, in everything that has led up to this point in my life, makes me like Spring Breakers more than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume that's like the way Waves connects with you, because it may be something that you've experienced at a certain point in your life. It could be minuscule, it could be a big thing, but you are a unique character that has gotten to this point making billions of unique choices.
Mm-hmm.
And it hits you a certain way that somebody who maybe like your brother or your best friend, it's just not going to do the same.
Yeah.
It's just a fact of life.
Yeah, and I've thought about that, and it's, I mean, maybe there's just stuff you don't even know about yourself that, you know, you can't really particularly put your finger on why you like everything you like, and that's the only one, because there's a lot of music that I like and movies and just things that I consume that I enjoy, that when I show it to other people, they do see what I see in it, at least to some degree. Maybe they don't love it as much, but they do recognize it. But that's the one. That's my Spring Breakers, where I'm like, come on, guys.
That's actually a big theme in Spring Breakers. They learn something they didn't know about themselves.
Isn't that every movie?
Well, this one does it really well.
That's true. And it doesn't judge them for it. All of the girls learn something about themselves, and they all learn different things.
Yes. Yes. So the next movie he made is basically Spring Breakers Light, in a sense.
The last movie he made.
The last real movie he made. And we'll get into that. So about 5 years later, he decided to make his final real movie, Beach Bum. Mm-hmm. This is also in Florida, in a more like... It kind of takes place around all of Florida, actually. Mm-hmm. It starts in a very rich area. So Matthew McConaughey plays a famous poet named Moondog, who's just like a lazy stoner, who's just like spitting just like stoner poetry that isn't very good, but everybody around him like genuinely likes it.
Okay.
Like one of his best friends in the movie is Snoop Dogg, who's playing a guy named Lingerie. So like Matthew McConaughey will say like he'll say like some very like hack poetry, and Snoop Dogg's like, "Shit, Moondog, that's some crazy ass shit you just said, man." Word.
Yeah.
I do like this movie generally. It is a better crowd pleaser than Mr. Lonely. I don't think it says anything super profound, but it does have a good cast of characters. I will say this. There is one moment in here with Zac Efron. Mm-hmm. I forget what they're even doing because I've seen this like 4 years ago, but he is just like in his scene constantly taking off and putting on his glasses like in every line. He's outside. Zac Efron is hilarious, by the way. I kind of owe an apology to him because like I always thought growing up he was like the High School Musical, just like, oh, he's in Baywatch now. But like, what is he going to do? And then I saw the Iron Claw and I was like, oh.
He's a good actor.
And then I saw Beach Bum and I was like, whoa, this dude actually kind of has some chops.
He has a very similar arc to Channing Tatum, where like the second he did comedy, it was like, oh.
Really found his voice. And I mean, yeah, I guess Harmony got a good performance out of him.
Unlike Channing Tatum, Zac Efron's comedies that he's in are terrible, though. I think he's good in it, but Dirty Grandpa is like the worst movie of all time, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
it's no 21 Jump Street.
But this movie basically kind of is a precursor to his next two films where it's very vibes based. Mm-hmm. But this does have a plot, but you know, you have a lot of photography of Florida, which Harmony lives in now.
Okay.
Around this time, he, I think, since Spring Breakers, I think, moved to Florida.
Interesting.
So this is really just kind of a love letter to the state. He goes around and he meets like Jimmy Buffett. A lot of like Florida characters, too.
Yeah.
I think this movie is really funny. There are a lot of like, it is his funniest movie, I think, because it is basically just like a stoner comedy.
Okay.
I guess that's the best way to sell this. If you like stoner comedies, you'll like The Beach Bum. Yeah. There are tragic elements to it. Like the entire impetus is he's writing his like magnum opus. Like he's well known in the Florida community, his character. His wife and him are driving and she dies in a car crash. It's the lady who's married to like Sacha Baron Cohen.
Isla Fisher?
Isla Fisher, maybe?
Like that? Yeah.
Anyway, so that's his wife.
Okay.
She's cheating on him with Snoop Dogg, which he knows about. But she dies in a car crash. And as part of her will, they live in like one of those mansions that's just like on the river in Florida. She says, hey, you can't get any of my inheritance because like her family was rich until you finish your magnum opus. So the moment you submit that to your publisher, you can get all the money. So Matthew McConaughey has been kind of like a lazy layabout, just smoking weed the entire like past decade. kind of out of his prime. So he's like, I don't have really any inspiration to write my old poetry because my wife's dead. I need to go around Florida having experiences that bring back the essence of my poetry. So he's just like, yeah, he's like on like a fishing boat at some point. He's like in rehab with Zac Efron. He's like flying in a plane. This is actually one of my favorite moments that I think says a lot about Harmony's like mindset. He's in like a biplane, like a seaplane, with this like blind Rastafarian like pilot.
Okay.
And Matthew says something to him, and the pilot just is like, he says something that you can't understand, and then Moondog just says, man, I don't know what the fuck you just said. I just like the way you fucking said it. And that really says a lot about his work. He's like, I'm not really saying anything interesting, but the way I said it, how it looks, the cadence, the vibe is really what's paramount to me. I think that moment in his entire filmography says the most about his mindset making movies, especially going forward with his next two.
That stands up. I mean, all of his movies are vile. Excuse me. All of his movies.
Was a Freudian slip?
I don't know what I was. I just combined like 3 words. I'm such a dry drunk. I'm slurring my words. I haven't had a drop of alcohol. His movies have a wildly different. I mean, they're just very different from each other. I mean, if you didn't know that they were all maybe the same guy, you wouldn't necessarily associate them because they all look different. They all are about very different subject matter. Some of them are real movies. Some of them are generative AI. Some of them are camcorder footage of people screaming. Some of them are people committing crimes. Like they're just kind of random and very different. So I guess maybe he realized about himself, like that his creative impulses are rooted in sort of just trying everything, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what happens. Or, I mean, I doubt he even cares if people react to what he makes.
Oh, no. I mean, with his last 2 movies, he's like, I want to make something that's not a movie. He is kind of like, at a certain point, not to say that they're equal, but you know how like Norm Macdonald didn't give a shit about comedy?
Yeah.
Harmony Korine at a certain point in his career, in his late career, is like, I don't give a fuck about movies anymore. He's like, I'm going to make something that is just vibes. I'm going to make something that's basically like an 80-minute music video. He's like, I don't care. I'm just going to do something that looks good. And who cares if I make any money? I have my own publishing company now.
How does he make his money?
Probably insider trading. I don't know how he gets money.
How does this guy make a living? I mean, Jesus Christ. Like,
I mean, his next movie, Agrodrift, is the start of what I call the Edgelord era. So his production company is called Edgelord.
Oh, God.
Yes. So this is the era that I'm not a big fan of, if I'm going to be honest.
This is the era where he exposes he's a fraud.
I think you think that. But this is at the point when he was making Agrodrift where he said, I don't want to make a movie. And to a lot of people's surprise, he did that. I mean, this is basically, for anybody who doesn't know, this movie is shot completely on NASA infrared cameras. It's like the heat vision that the Predator has, basically. Yep. Because the cameras don't pick up audio, all the dialogue in the movie, all the sound is just added in post. So people are definitely talking during scenes, or they probably maybe just like have a mic off screen. But I'm sure most of it was just recorded in a studio afterwards.
Okay.
The dialogue is basically like a stream of consciousness. The main guy is an assassin with a like Hispanic, maybe Cuban accent. I forget the actors.
Travis Scott.
Not Travis Scott. The other guy.
I didn't watch it. I just saw like you showed me a couple minutes over Discord and I was like, oh my God, what am I looking at?
I showed him the scene where the main guy, who I think his name is Bo? I don't remember. Travis Scott is named Zion, which is funny. But they're in a boat where Travis is like, I wake up, I do it. I think about it, I do it. He's giving the worst performance. He's worse than Gucci Mane in Spring Breakers. If Gucci Mane was like, I don't like you, James Franco. Travis Scott is bored.
Do you think is Harmony Korine's career just about like embarrassing black people? He has the black midget wear the Zionist t-shirt. He has Gucci Mane in Spring Breakers in a very embarrassing scene that I can't really say without spoiling it. He has the blind Rasta, like just speaking gibberish in a helicopter. And then he has Travis Scott on Predator cam. Say, I do it. I get up. I grind.
Travis Scott has Down syndrome in this movie. It's so bizarre. But the dialogue, like I said, is very just stream of consciousness. Like he's talking and he's just like, I am an assassin. I fucking kill every fucking person. I kill everybody. I must protect everybody. It's like you're drunk and you're just saying anything that comes out of your mouth. Like if you're ever just like, I don't know what I'm saying right now. That is basically the dialogue in this movie. And I will say...
Never been there myself.
Yeah. Caleb has never done anything on alcohol.
Yeah.
One thing about this movie that I definitely didn't like is they use generative AI, I believe, to just make patterns on like people's clothing. And here's the thing. I just need to say something, first of all. I don't have a problem with the AI in this movie, really. Because what it's doing isn't very transformative. It's not taking really anybody's like job away. Mm-hmm. And it also looks like fucking shit. That's the problem I have. I can show you a clip later. People will just be walking and they have like the weird, like, you know, those tests they use where it's like you're looking at something, but you can't know what any object is. It's like the stroke test.
No, I don't know at all what you're talking about.
There's like a famous image online or a collection of images where you're looking at something and it looks like a dresser full of objects, but the closer you look, nothing is an actual object. It's like an illusion. There's something I can
picture that.
Yeah, they're using it in like stroke testing where it's like basically somebody with a stroke or I don't know, like oxygen loss from the brain. That's how they perceive something where it's you can tell something is there, but you can't identify it.
Yeah.
It's like a dementia thing too. That's what this looks like in there, and I think it looks really fucking ugly. That's my problem with it. I don't care that it's AI because he definitely was just like, render dog shit in my movie into ChatGPT. But this is where I think his career is going a direction that I don't necessarily like.
Career.
Hey, he's made money once, dude.
I mean, I don't think he would describe his career as a career.
No, he'd probably use some like stupid term, but this also leads into his final and most recent movie, Baby Invasion.
Fuck this.
Have I shown you a clip from this? Yeah,
and you told me to like you were like just Google it and just consume what you can, and it gave me a stroke.
It looks like a Twitch stream. There is an overlay on screen at all times.
Yes.
And people typing in chat. There's like donations going on. Mm-hmm. It's from a first person like GoPro perspective. I would basically describe it if you've ever seen like those like mass shooting videos where people have the GoPro on their head and they like walk into like a supermarket and shoot like 10 people. That's the vibe that this movie has, except less violence.
Yeah.
With the overlay that XQC would have. Some Twitch streamer.
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate description, I gotta say.
And there really is no plot besides that.
Fuck you. Don't say besides.
Let me set it up. They live. There is a video game that was released onto the dark net. It wasn't done. Uh-huh. And these people play the game, and it's so real they don't know if they're in the game or not. Mm-hmm. What's really happening is he had people just like walk around in like camo around like rich people's houses who I believe are like his just friends' houses in Florida.
Yeah, probably.
And then just like tie them up and like put them in corners. I wish there was more violence in this movie. When I was watching it, there's like maybe one scene where they like punch or shoot somebody that isn't like a weird AI baby that comes out of the ocean to attack them. I will say this, though. The idea of it being first person and having like AI facial tracking that makes everybody's face a baby as some sort of like censorship. That's an interesting idea. That is cool to some people.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I like that. The thing is, though, the movie is like kind of boring.
That's its problem, is it's a little boring.
I wish more shit happened.
This movie is the end of art. I mean, this movie should get you sent to Guantanamo. People rage about like, well, they don't really rage, but people criticize brain rot and like people who design, like people who make videos that are just meant to, like anything, just suck up your time, get your attention, but ultimately they're just making you dumber and ruining your attention span. Like this movie is a crime against humanity in my eyes. This is a crime against art. And I mean, the fact that he's making it either means that he's just really in his like fuck everything bag, or he's just raging against what he sees as like the end of art. So he's participating in it. But fuck you for participating in it. Like what? There's no motive to make this movie that is redeemable, I think.
I disagree with what you're saying, but I understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to defend Baby Invasion as a good movie, but I will say this. He did have a famous quote that gets taken out of context a lot, so I'll need to explain it. But do you know the streamer iShowSpeed? He's the black guy who's been going around like China and stuff.
Yes.
He's a very famous streamer for the uninitiated.
Yeah.
He said in an interview that iShowSpeed is the new Tarkovsky. Okay. And that's taken out of context because some people thought that was a term of endearment. he wasn't disparaging him, but he said people like iShowSpeed, streamers are garnering so much attention from like the youth now, people that are interested in that he basically is at the same level of influence as Andrei Tarkovsky. Which,
I mean, more.
In terms of like eyes on stuff, yeah. I mean,
Tarkovsky has no influence. No one knows who that is.
I mean, more people have probably seen iShowSpeed's like Chinese streams than Stalker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's more in the public consciousness, especially at this point.
Yeah.
I agree with you in the sense that people shouldn't be making these movies if they think they're going to be good. I mean, it's a free country. You can make what you like, but I don't like the direction that his career is headed. And I say this as somebody who just did, how long have we gone for? Like 2 hours?
It's been a while.
On a director.
Mm-hmm.
Stop doing shit like this. You're not going to listen to this, but if you ever do somehow, go back to something more tangible. You don't have to just remake Spring Breakers over and over again. But I feel like this is not playing to your strengths as a director. You focus more on the human element and interesting characters. And your last 2 movies have been people who have no writing whatsoever and are boring. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my final nail in the I mean, I'll keep watching his movies. I paid fucking like $15 on his stupid Edward website for both these movies.
I mean, yeah. God help you.
I have a problem.
I mean, Harmony Korine, where I thought you were going when you said that there was a quote taken out of context, I have heard a quote of him talking about the future of movies, and I'm sure you know it, because I'm not even searching out his stuff and I've come across it, so I'm sure you have, where he's talking. He's like, I think the future of movies is like, you know, just something with like no story and like, you know, just imagery. It's like a baby mobile that just, like, I'm paraphrasing, but he's just sounding really defeated about the death of art. Pretty much, or at least movies. And he's like, yeah, no one's going to care about movies. Movies are going to be like a video game stream. I mean, basically what Baby Invasion is. Like, he's basically, and I think he was saying this like a couple of years before he made it, or before Google made it, technically.
Yes.
I mean,
the thing about him,
whatever AI he used. But
you can tell that he's self-aware that movies are declining, but he's also partaking in it.
That's the thing.
It's like, you don't have to just like submit yourself to the will of the movie-going populace. You can still continue to make stuff. I mean, Agrodrift and Baby Invasion like didn't have wide releases at all. I mean, I think they played at like Venice, some film festivals, but Agrodrift, I was in like one theater in Seattle on like a Thursday night for like maybe 2 weeks.
One theater too many.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even go to it. I like had work. I was like, who's fucking watching this?
Yeah.
Baby Invasion has just been like released through his website.
I don't know. I think, I think this is the wrong move. I think that you pull yourself out of the dumpster. It's not that hard to make a movie. Like, just buy some sound recording equipment and a camcorder, and you can go out and make 50 Julien Donkey-Boys for free.
Yes.
It's not that hard to make. His whole thing is like, I can't get money or funding for my thing because like Beach Bum bombed or whatever. Like, you could still be making movies. You don't have to make bullshit AI shit with Travis Scott. Come on.
Yeah.
Either don't do anything. Like, either hop in the pool or go home, but don't just piss in the pool from the side, you know?
That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
Be the change that you want to see in the universe.
Yeah. Come on, Harmony. I mean, your name's Harmony, for God's sake. Stop creating chaos in my life.
And I think that is the perfect place to end. I am out of notes. I wrote 4 pages on this, and I've subjected Caleb to the equivalent of Chinese water torture, but for podcasts.
I mean, you'll probably be happy to hear this. This process of preparing for this did make me like him, because I was completely agnostic on him, and I do kind of like what he does.
He's made, in your opinion, he has made good movie or good movies?
He's made some good art. I don't know if he's made more than one good. I can't really describe Gummo or Julien Donkey-Boy as good movies, but I think that they are effective as expressions of things. You know, I think he has created some meaningful, worthwhile art.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you saw it that way, because the entire purpose of doing this was I need to just go autistic mode and like get Caleb on side. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I did give you the 3 best movies to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, you might like Beach Bum, honestly.
I'm never going to watch that.
Okay. I don't blame you.
I don't watch Snoop Dogg. That movie kind of looks like a disease movie. I'll be honest.
I think it's good. I will stand by it. I won't say it's his best work, but I will. It's not a disease movie.
You paid to watch Baby Invasion. You can't be trusted.
Fuck, I really did pay like $20.
Patreon.com/Your Older Brothers.
Your Older Brothers podcast on Instagram, yourolderbrothers@gmail.com. Send us anything. Complain that I just wasted 2 hours of your time talking about this bullshit. Harmony, go back to making good movies, please.
If you ever did that in the first place, that is.
Shut the fuck up.